You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz. For great radio, get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
You know, I wish we could find some way to hold people accountable. Free speech is a great idea, but we're in a war.
To make sure the economy doesn't collapse, I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
You're listening to Common Sense Radio with A.J. Davis on the Lanterns Radio Network.
Welcome. So glad to have you here tonight, November 6, 2017, on the eve of the elections of the 2017 cycle. One thing that is sure to be a doozy is going to be about this time tomorrow in the state of Virginia and in the mayor race for New York City. I am so happy as you all are following me on Twitter at Oregon Redskin, and I put up a couple polls this week to kind of engage more with the listenership and the people on Twitter, and overwhelmingly the people chose, I had New Jersey, New York, or Virginia as one of the races that I was going to cover, and everybody picked Virginia because it used to be a battleground state. It's more of a swing state now. And also, I was happy about that because that's my home state. That's where I was from. But also, a little secret is I'm going to cover the mayor race in New York as well because I think that's very interesting and a lot of people are not covering it. Also, we're going to be covering a sizable amount of hashtags as they are the cool and trendy thing right now. Also, while we push for the hashtag livable wage, or whatever it is, fight for 15. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not current this week on my progressive propaganda. I'll discuss an article out of Arkansas where with Democrats' most hated corporation, Walmart, and how they have destroyed the wage argument. I also have a huge announcement I am so happy to share with you. So, do me a favor. I want you to go ahead and hit the like and share button if you like this content. Share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. You can find me on all the platforms from iHeartRadio, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, you name it. You name it. So I want to start today with the New York race, the mayor race out of New York, because I find it, because I've been following it very closely over the last month. And sidebar, please bear with me, my throat is a little uneasy as Saturday I was coaching my daughter's basketball team and kind of going a little hoarse, so you can... You know the feeling. We've all had that. So, we've got three main candidates that are running for mayor. We got the incumbent, Bill de Blasio. You all know about him. He's the one that likes to vacation in Cuba. He is just an interesting figure. We also have Nicole, and I know I'm going to butcher these last names, Malatoski. She's a... person in the state assembly, Bo Dietel. Bo is a former NYPD detective, and he's a lot of people are calling him the loudmouth of the race. But let's get to some of the things that these candidates are really pushing right now. in my opinion, just from looking on the outside, and I don't live in New York at all, but the main contenders, obviously you're incumbent, but I don't think Beau really stands a chance. So pardon me if I'm not following much on him. Nicole, the only reason I say she stands a really good chance, and I know the polls right now, last I saw is Bill de Blasio was up tremendously. But you know what? Hillary Clinton was supposed to win the 2016 election in November. I mean, the polls. So we'll see. We will absolutely see. But the Mayor de Blasio is going to talk about his, and these are a couple quotes that I wanted to, I'm going to quote. The mayor is going to discuss his record lifting up New Yorkers by highlighting his achievements, such as record low crime. Well, that would be the NYPD's, not his. A greater push on affordable housing. That is yours. You need to be, since you're the mayor, policies that are not making landlords increase because of all the regulations. Fighting for working people, said Phil Walczak, a senior advisor to Mr. de Blasio's campaign. Seems like he has not completed anything, in my opinion, from his highlights. That's just my opinion. I mean, is the affordable housing, does that mean low-income houses giving that to people for free? Or is that helping to lower the cost of living in New York City? I don't know. Also, Phil goes on to say, he said that Mr. de Blasio would also drive home the message, quote, that New York City needs and deserves someone who's going to stand up to Donald Trump's dangerous agenda. And the other people on stage can't be trusted to do that because they both voted for him. End quote. So I have one question. Is this his job to stand up against the President of the United States? I mean, take it in the city. I know New York City is probably one of the largest. It's ginormous. I think it's one of the most important cities in the world. It is. But is that the mayor's job to stand up against President Trump? I mean, what do you mean by standing up? I know what it means. I know what it means. It means like what you tweeted out on Saturday. Mayor de Blasio tweets out, our city is still providing support. You can donate to Puerto Rico today at nyc.gov/fun. Now, I have no problem with him pushing charities to help Puerto Rico. But I don't... just following Bill de Blasio, he's not somebody that is really, in my opinion, not trying to be political. I mean, that guy has got to be the most political person I've met, or I haven't met. I would love to. I would love to meet him and have a conversation with him. So we go to the next candidate, which is Nicole Malachowski. Again, I'm probably butchering that name, and the reason I really think she has somewhat of a chance is, excuse me, got to get some of my water. Go ahead, take a break real quick. Get some of your whiskey or get your drink of water. As like I told you, my throat has been just on fire the last couple of days. Anyways, Nicole is someone that has been all over the press calling out Mayor de Blasio's crooked ways. And some of the things that she's been talking about is him asking donors for $100,000, even though I would think that would not be really kosher. Also, she's just hammering him left and right. So I pulled up her website, and I'm at the jobs and the economy. She's probably more of a moderate. I wouldn't say she's a right-wing nut and anything like that, because she's in New York City. It's not possible. And I'm going to read a couple things here. In the New York State Assembly, Nicole earned a reputation as a vocal opponent of burdensome regulations, red tape, and taxes that make it difficult for businesses to survive and thrive in our communities. Well, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. That's burdensome regulations are the biggest things in a city of that size that make the largest effect of jobs. It absolutely is. I hope Bill de Blasio loses, but I don't see it happening. And Bo, I mean, he's probably in the debate back in October, early October. It was a three-way debate, expected to be a 2-on-1 against de Blasio, but it really wasn't, because Nicole and Bo were trying to tout their reputations, and de Blasio just sat back and played class warfare. I mean, that's what he had Bernie Sanders come all the way to New York City to have an election rally with him, or not an election night. I mean, for the election, but he had a campaign rally, and of all people, you have Bernie Sanders come up there. Bernie Sanders, even though, as I'll tell you, the DailyBeast.com reports, in New York, Mayor Bill de Blasio is up by roughly a gazillion points and doesn't need Sanders to excite the Democratic base. Yet Sanders campaigned Monday with de Blasio in a race where he isn't even needed, even as he refused to endorse the governor for Virginia, the governor candidate from the Democratic side. So you tell me why, if just think about it. Just think about it for a second. If Bill de Blasio is what the Daily Beast is saying, up a gazillion points, why is Bernie Sanders heading over to New York to help? There's more to it. There's more to it. Oh, maybe it's the crooked DNC, because we all saw the reports that came out last week. What was it, Thursday or Friday, about Hillary Clinton basically buying and dictating everything for the Democratic National Committee, because they were in debt. So they paid down that debt, and they got to make all of the hiring decisions. Huh. Donna Brazil, your book. Oh, I can't wait till I can find a copy of that at Goodwill, because I promise you I'll buy it. I'm not going to buy it until it's about $1 at Goodwill. I'll keep an eye out for it. But yeah, I wouldn't put $1 in your pocket. I'll put $1 in Goodwill's pocket when it comes out there. And it was funny because some of the progressive, like I talked about last week. It's funny. Last week, I've been ahead of the game. How much? I'm not trying to, talk like I am a visionary or anything like that, but I'm just following the trends. The trends are absolutely easy to follow and easy to grasp on whenever you have such I can't even think of a word to describe the corruption. I mean corruption doesn't even seem like a word, or corrupt a word strong enough to use against these people. So again, I ask you a question. Why, if Bill de Blasio is up a gazillion points, as I pointed out, why is Bernie in New York City campaigning for a mayor's race? I tell you why. Because those two probably have these same phone number, have each other's phone number, and they're texting each other, "Oh, Bernie, I'm going to outdo you with my socialist policies." No, Bill. I got you beat. I'm at the federal level. And all you can help is the people in New York. I can do the entire United States. And they're just going back and forth. Oh, man. That is hilarious. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and take a break right now. You're listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
Hey everybody, this is Dylan and Steven with Defenders of American Exceptionalism on the Lanterns Radio Network.
AJ decided to send us a message the other day and tell us that we needed to do his job.
By his job, you mean cut this little promo?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here it is. You can find our show live Saturday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, you name it.
Pretty much anywhere
you can find it. You can also find us on Facebook, Defenders of American Exceptionalism,
Twitter, DOAE Show,
and at patreon.com/DOAE Show. I think that pretty much sums it up.
I think so.
I think we're done here.
Maybe.
Could be here.
All right.
Goodbye.
Battle for Freedom is more than just a show speaking out against the inconsistencies of liberal progressivism. It is a program that seeks to challenge all of us to do that much-needed introspection, to see those same inconsistencies in us. If we cannot be honest to point out our own flaws, how dare we challenge other people?
Check out Lumberlax. This is a company started by an 11-year-old Kai Talley. He plays lacrosse, and the money that they profit off of the business, they use to help less fortunate kids that cannot play lacrosse. He partners with nonprofits to give money to kids that physically cannot play the game due to special needs or illness. This is an amazing thing that he is doing, and he is extremely involved in his community. Take a look at the website, lumberlax.com, or email them directly at lumberlax@comcast.net and order a custom shaft for yourself or someone else. They also do coaches gifts, team sticks. They work with people to do fundraisers and so much more. Please check out lumberlax.com, official sponsor of Common Sense Radio with AJ Davis on the Lanterns Radio Network. Welcome back to the program, folks. So glad to have you here. Do me a favor. I want you to follow me on Twitter, tweet at me. Use the hashtag CS Radio. Or tweet at me at Oregon Redskin. Also, on Facebook, I am at AJ Davis Podcast. And that's where I share, the recordings or the podcasts from iHeart, iTunes. You can find me. There's many ways to get a hold of me. Anyway, so I want to shift over to the Virginia election, because that was a very near and dear one to my heart. We have Ed Gillespie, the GOP candidate, and then we have Ralph Northam, the Democrat candidate for governor. This is a highly anticipated race, as many people think it will dictate what will happen in the midterms and where the country is at politically after 10 months of President Trump in office. You might ask, what does the guy from Oregon care about the Virginia governor race? Not sure if I've mentioned it before, but even if I have, I'm going to again. I am a native-born Virginian who was born and raised in little old Manassas Park, Virginia, which at the time was about 45 minutes south of D.C., the swamp. Now, with all the traffic and expansion everywhere, it's probably like an hour and a half. I have a number of people that still live in Virginia that I still communicate with and miss. And some people that I met in the Navy that are just near and dear to my heart. So, yeah, I have a dog in this fight. And I want to go ahead and play for you. This was a TV commercial, and you can hear it. But it's from the Latino Victory Camp, and it's really absolutely disturbing if you watch it. And I'll tweet out a YouTube video of it, but go ahead and listen to it. It's a couple colored children that are running from a truck with a rebel flag on the back. Don't tread on these plate in the front. And then Ed Gillespie bumper sticker.
Run, run, run! Come on!
They bring children, a young girl with a hijab on and a Hispanic child. And
is this what Donald Trump and Ed Gillespie mean by the American dream? Latino Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
I mean, seriously, that you want to talk about? And time out before I go any further. I understand that this was a political action committee that was providing this commercial, but like I talked to Watson Prunier over at Battle for Freedom, and he and I have had. I mean, go back and look at the podcast. He and I did a show together, and all we talked about was race. And he and I have discussed the notion that you cannot solve racism with racism. That's something that absolutely just boggles my mind, that you think that you can go and solve what you appear to think is racism with more racism. Just let that one sink in. Let that sink in right there. So right now, Northam is the Obama wing of the Democratic Party. When I was talking to you about the New York mayor race, Bernie Sanders guy didn't make it, but President Obama, former President Obama's guy made it because Joe Biden was down there campaigning for him. President Obama was. And you can imagine Hillary Clinton isn't going to be there because he's part of the Obama side of the party. Like I told you, there's 3 parts of the Democratic Party. We talked about that last week. We got the Bernie camp. We got the Clinton camp. We got the Obama camp. And the polls have been back and forth. It's interesting. I'm like I said, I'm at Real Clear Politics, and just go there and you see all the polls. And it says Thursday, November 2nd, from the Suffolk poll in Virginia, Northam 47, Gillespie 43. And then you fast forward it to today, and Northam's 49, Gillespie's 48. That's within the margin of error. So you tell me who's going to win this? I mean, if I had to make a guess, I talked to a friend that lives in Virginia, and he follows all the politics, and he thinks Gillespie's going to win because of this commercial that the group put out about him. Again, you can't solve racism with racism. Ed Gillespie is fighting this doctor because Ralph Northam is a doctor who is claiming that he has all the right answers. He's talking the talk. He's talking the President Obama class warfare talk. And Ed Gillespie, I think he's being pretty smart, but he is just kind of sitting back and letting Northam make a fool. Since we will get fined by the FCC, I won't say a couple words because he's digging himself a hole. He really is. And one thing that I really find ironic is, and I shouldn't say this, is when you see the campaign rallies with Northam and President Obama or former Vice President Joe Biden, it looks like he is just living in a fairy tale land. He has his nose up in the air, and he's among the elite. He's not an elite yet because he's just rubbing elbows. He probably would be getting, as Bill Clinton described President Obama, oh, this guy 4 or 5 years ago would be getting us coffee and muffins. So if he becomes governor and he succeeds Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton's guy, Terry, from Virginia, is Virginia a blue state if we get back-to-back Democratic governors? I just don't see that happening. And the reason I say that, the reason I say that is being a native Virginian, born and raised Northern Virginia, we have a lot of military people. We have a lot of rural Virginia. We have a lot of farmers. We have a lot of people that are looking for common sense solutions, and I'm not saying President Trump has common sense solutions, but some of his solutions are pretty good. They're not bad. Lower regulation, don't kill babies. Oh. You can imagine all the baby killing mills are backing Ralph. All the pro-life camps are backing Ed. It's sad. It's sad that we've come to a place in our society where it's blue team versus red team. I mean, 95% of people you talk to, well, no, I would say maybe it's more like 90%. They won't even talk to you if you're not on their team. They won't even have these conversations about politics. They'll talk to you about fishing. They'll talk to you about recipes on Pinterest. But they won't talk to you. I've had these conversations. I've tried to talk to someone about how corrupt Hillary Clinton is, or how John Boehner and Nancy Pelosi are one and the own. They're both the same. They were both the same people. They both got tons of Botox. They both were progressives, and these people cannot fathom those kind of conversations. They needed their safe space. They've asked me to stop talking about things like that because it hurt their feelings. They were sad. They couldn't handle that they were not allowed to have their talking points. So I ask you right now, pay attention to the Virginia election. It is absolutely an important one because it is essentially the kickoff for the 2018 midterms that are coming up. Virginia has always been a hotbed election, especially a year after the last presidential election. And on Saturday, we even had people protesting in the streets about President Trump and Vice President Pence. I mean, when's enough? I mean, November 8th, last year, they were out there protesting right after they won. We don't want no fascist USA. You know, they got those catchy jingles. I mean, my goodness, give us a freaking break. I mean, I am sick of hearing it. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and take a break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to cover some of the news. We're going to cover the article that I told you about from Arkansas. And then we're going to finish the show with the huge announcement I have for you. You're listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz. For great radio, get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
In every rising of the sun, my purpose was to be thankful to be alive. I was even more thankful for the blessings that came with this life, specifically Virdis, my wife. But that came to an end when Aklavane and her minions violently took her away from me. So my new purpose in this life is to gather all the pieces of the Stone's Heart so I can defeat Aklavane and get back my bride. Join me as I travel to new worlds, making new friends and avoiding old enemies. Read more about my story in the first 2 books of the Stone's Heart series, which are now available on Amazon.com in Kindle format. The first book is The Quest for Savitvarda, and that is followed by The Heart of Pagaila. Stone's Heart is more than a fantasy and a sci-fi quest. It's me fighting to get back my precious wife despite the overwhelming odds against me. Stone's Heart. Join, explore, and believe.
Welcome back to the program, folks. You're listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network. So glad to have you here. So Arkansas Online is a publication that got a hold of some pictures. And I'll just read to you the name on the article, or the headline on the article. Robots to work in 50 Walmarts, including several in Arkansas. A robot prowls the aisles of a Walmart store in a test run of the device's mission to check shelves and alert workers to stocking or pricing needs. Walmart Stores Incorporated, customers in a few Arkansas stores will soon cross paths with robots roaming the aisles. So I ask you right now, Fight for 15, livable wage hashtags, no fascist USA hashtags. I mean, they're catchy. People are demanding this Fight for 15. They're demanding these $15, $16, $17 an hour minimum wages. A national minimum wage must be had. The leader of the Democratic Socialist Party, wing of the Democratic Party, Bernie Sanders, can talk about the minimum wage for hours. Well, he claims it will benefit people in a livable wage, will make it so people can actually survive. Okay, first off, these robots, one robot probably will destroy 2 to 5 jobs. That's just an estimate of what I'm making a preliminary guess at. One thing it will do, it will shut this argument down, this hashtag Fight for 15, hashtag livable wage, hashtag whatever the heck you want it to be. Because these robots, you plug into the wall, charge them with their batteries. They go around, they don't give you any lip. They don't treat customers like garbage. It's competition. Man versus robot. I mean, the future's here. I mean, look at all those movies where, oh my gosh, the robots are going to take over. We're there, folks. Is that what it's going to be at all the customer service positions? Are robots? It's not looking good for us when you have these people out there fight for 15, because the owners of these businesses are going to move more and more to these robots. I mean, for instance, we have robots for aisles at Walmart. In previous broadcasts, I've talked about the hamburger robot, where it can make, what was it? It was an insane amount. I can't remember the number, but it was like 160 hamburgers an hour. Or so. It was insane. And it could put the hamburger on the bun, ketchup, mustard. You could get rid of 5 people. And that's, I mean, say, for instance, those people are making $10 an hour. That's $50 an hour you're saving. And if you have to get the robot repaired, if it's a couple $100, you're going to do that in a New York minute. A New York minute. So this is a plea out to you, Democratic Socialists, to you Fight for 15, hashtag livable wage people. Also, it's out to all the progressives on left and on the right spectrum. Please, I beg you, I am on my hands and knees begging you to not continue with this nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense because we're screwed. We're absolutely screwed if it continues for people to see it and keep moving our society to robots to do everything. I'm actually scared for that. I mean, if you haven't seen the lawnmowers that they put a little bit of cord around your yard and it goes out and cuts your grass every day, we're talking 2017 and they have these lawnmowers. If they can do that, because just next time you're driving around, look at the size of the yards. They have these robots for every type of yard possible. They have drones in the big cities that are delivering packages from Amazon within an hour. My goodness, when is enough enough? I don't know if it's ever going to be enough. It's about control. They don't care. Politicians want to enslave you for their vote, for your vote. That's all they want. They want to give you free stuff. So you vote for them and keep them in power. And if you don't believe that, well, I'm telling you, stop listening right now. I don't want you listening anymore, because if you can't understand that one simple concept, that you're a sheep and you can head out to get in line to get slaughtered, because I will not sit by and keep being played. I will not sit by and let my children get played or be led to the sheep slaughter. I teach my kids to be sheepdogs, not sheep. And that's from birth up. And I will beat that into their head until the day I croak. And I hope you're doing that to your kids as well, because it's important not to be having the kids, our next generation, led out to slaughter. It's just absolutely, it's important. I refuse to. Okay, so let's head over to the news of the week. There's a lot of stuff that was happening this last week. One of the things that really caught my eye was the Papa John's pulling the ad from the NFL. Papa John's said their sales were declining, so they were pulling all their ads from the NFL. And then a social media storm started and continued for, 4 hours? I don't know. It wasn't very much, but you could see people all over Twitter, Facebook, posting pictures of pizza. Your pizza's not very good. It's awful. It's not good. You're not good. You're just doing this because you're a bundler of Trump, or you're just doing this because you hate Colin Kaepernick. You're doing this because you hate black people. That's the kind of crap that we have to listen to. But I agree with what Matt Walsh had said. I don't know, was it a month ago or a couple weeks ago? No, it was more than a couple weeks ago. It was a month or two ago. He goes, why are we paying any of these people any attention? I mean, you see Colin Kaepernick filed a lawsuit for collusion within the NFL for Jerry Jones, Robert Kraft, and I'm sure he added the Texans owner now, since he made that comment about we can't let the prisoners take over the jail, or I don't know. I thought it was a non-issue. He was making an analogy. I mean, are you serious? And then you get reports out of Houston that the players were going to rip their decals off the helmets, or they're going to not play, or they're not going to do this, or they're not going to do that. Why do you think what are they called? See, I'm losing my. It's got me so riled up. The stats for TV, the viewership is down so bad because people are sick and tired of this political bullcrap. And you hear it from everybody. You go to watch sports to disconnect. Disconnect from reality. You disconnect. That's why when I went to Disneyland a few weeks back, I was disconnected from reality. It was amazing. When I was watching the Astros win the World Series this week, it was nice. I didn't think about anything else. I was cheering them on because I just don't like the Dodgers. It was disconnecting from reality. Then there's another thing that's even... Some of the NFL teams, like the New Orleans Saints, released a statement Thursday saying it's unfortunate and disappointing that a retired Navy commander declined an honor at Sunday's game, has been telling media outlets he no longer supports NFL football because of players' protests throughout the league before and during the national anthem. And the Saints respond back, "We will not allow Mr. Wells' decisions and media appearances to distract our players and organization from continuing to honor and support our military and veterans." The Saints said in their statement, which stressed the organization's, quote, unwavering 50-plus year commitment to honor, support, and recognize our servicemen and women and veterans. End quote. Yeah. Since week 4, Saints players have chosen to kneel before the national anthem in a display of unity and then stand during the anthem. I'll give them that. If they're standing during the anthem, that's fine. But I support Commander Wells' decision. I absolutely support it, and I love it. Because the only way that these people in the NFL are going to get it is if they start seeing that ching go away. And I hope it does. Because I'm almost to the point where I'm a huge fantasy football player, and I was thinking about in the future taking weeks off and just covering fantasy football or covering sports. That's out the window now. And I was a huge football fan. I mean, I still am, but I mean a huge NFL fan. Not anymore. I'm to the point where I won't even play, probably after this year, not play fantasy football ever again until we see what happens. I just, being a veteran, I just cannot support that, and it absolutely disgusts me. And the last bit of news that I wanted to cover with you is kind of disturbing. It's right here in Oregon, and it's from the Willamette Week. Portland now has 600 dues-paying Democratic Socialists. Don't be surprised if they show up at your door to talk about single-payer health care. Holy smokes. 600. That's a 3,900% increase from this time last year when the chapter had 15 members. And the dues are $45. I mean, my goodness. If they come to my door, I know I'm outside. I'm probably an hour and a half south of Portland. But let me tell you this: their motto is "Keep Portland weird." You look for the bumper stickers. It's interesting. It absolutely is. Makes you go, huh. But I promise you, if I get someone like this that comes to my door, I will try and record it. That's a promise. Not saying that they will, but if I get somebody or if someone tries to come and push single-payer health care, oh, you better believe I'm going to throw out some facts. I'm going to throw out some stats. And I'm going to bury them. And I'm going to make them go, oh, okay. When I saw that article, my eyes just almost popped out of my head. I didn't know what to say. What do you... and the state of Oregon isn't very big, and I think Portland doesn't have... You know what? Let's do this. Let's go on Google. I mean, I'm sure the population of Portland, Oregon, is a lot bigger. Okay, so the population 639,000 people in Portland. That's what I'm pulling up on the so reliable Wikipedia. Oregon has 4 million people as a population. That was back in 2006. But 600 people? That doesn't sound like very much. I bet you that's just people that pay the dues. How many people support that? And I'll tweet out, Facebook share that article from Willamette Weekly, because that's pretty astounding. I mean, that to me is shocking. That many people, 600 people, that's a lot of people. I know it doesn't sound like it very much out of 640,000 people, but 600 people is a lot. For people that are going to be paying those dues, my goodness. I wonder what comes with those dues, like your own USSR flag, China flag. I mean, we got to find out. We got to start talking about that. And maybe we'll talk about that next week with what I'm about to announce to you is the largest change to Common Sense Radio. Okay, let me take a deep breath before I announce this. You're clambering on your feet. It's absolutely amazing. I will be having it won't be just me anymore. I will be having a co-host join us, Susan Swift from SusanSwift.net. I'll send out a tweet, a Facebook of her website, SusanSwift.net, and I'll let her tell more about herself next week, but you are going to love her. She has been just a treasure to Lanterns.buzz. She is going to be fantastic. You're going to love her. She has put out articles and on politichicks.com. She's just like one of the nicest people I've met, and she's hilarious. So look forward to next week's broadcast is going to be with Susan. We are going to dig deep into more progressivism. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, and it was hard to hold it back in for these 54 minutes to hold it and not tell you. I found out about it. I've just been on cloud nine. I'm so excited because it's so easier to have two people instead of doing a monologue. It absolutely really is. And I hope you enjoy what we're going to be bringing to you, because we're going to bring perspectives. She lives in California, progressive utopia as well, and that's what I like to call Oregon, is the progressive utopia. So we're both conservatives that are fighting in the progressive utopias to end the BS. So next time, you will be hearing two voices on this mic. So anyways, I want you to have a great night, and I will see you next week. You're listening to Common Sense Radio.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz. For great radio, get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.